Okay, Chris, thank you. When Chris and I were talking about this, I told her a little story she asked me to repeat about a time when my company was in the midst of opening 20-some plants, and during our first plant startup, we hired what we thought was a very competent plant manager. We talked to this gentleman, made him the offer, and he just happened to come in on a Saturday for a business meeting before his first day. And just before the meeting started, he walked up to me and apologized that he really didn't have a master's degree as his resume indicated. So I thought about that for a minute, and the meeting went on. At the next break, he came back to me again and said, Jim, I really feel bad because I really don't have a bachelor's degree either, but I do have my associate's degree. Well, to make a long story short, we de-offered him or rescinded our offer, and that was really the start of, at least for me, understanding the importance of doing thorough background checking, including references and criminal background checks and all the other things. How are we on time on this question, Chris? Do I have time to go on to the next part of the answer?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, Jim. Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to point out that if you have read Dr. Bradford Smart's book, Top Grading, which I suppose many of you have, he calculates the cost of a mishire to be about 14 times salary. Now, my company has also done a lot of research on this area, and we think 14 is about the right number, but we think it's more like 18 to 20 times salary for an executive position. And the point I wanted to make out, while many elements of your comprehensive selection system, like the behavioral-based interviewing and assessments and reference checks, are somewhat subjective when you're using your collaboration process, many of the elements of the background check are typically pass-fail, go, no-go, things like criminal background checks, or maybe, as I mentioned earlier, the educational verification. So I would submit to you that the background checking is a very key part of your overall selection system.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
And
now I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry, Jim. Were you saying something?
I said that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Now I'm going to ask Scott Freehafer to be our second presenter speaking on this topic.